Hey there, chaps and chappettes, Roddy Jodphurs here again. Well, of course, the sun is out. It is officially April, and this means it is the start of pub garden weather. Now, when you're not as financially gifted as certain others, you do find that going out for a bit of a boozer is a little bit pricey, so I thought I would do a public service, as it were, and track down the best ways to get completely blotto for the least money. And I think this way we can absolutely work through it together and have everyone having a good old time by summer. So I thought I would start off with, of course, the wines, because obviously one starts an evening with a wine, and then I was going to say how the important parts of wine tasting are to take care of the vintage. However, this is a bottle I picked up from a supermarket that will not be named. As you will see, I found on the label that this is not just the Côte du Rhône, but the Côte du Rhône Générique. Literally. So yes, this, what can only be described as middle school play prop bottle, was a Côte du Rhône from 2014, so it's had a good time. Let's crack it open, shall we? I will say, I'm quite impressed that this even has a cork in the bloody thing, because in my experience, they often think that the poorer classes, having not had the decent diet and also not servants to help them, they seem to presume that we would struggle with a cork, possibly due to our wasting muscles. This is complete balderdash, however. What man can't uncork? Well, it appears even the manufacturers of generic Côte du Rhône don't want us drinking generic Côte du Rhône, so we'll put that one to one side for now, as apparently they would rather lock the contents of that particular bottle away forever, and I have read enough Greek mythology to know that if something is stopped up that badly, you don't unstop it. So instead we will move swiftly on to the next drink that we have to sample, which is Noblemen Full Cream Fortified British Wine. An interesting observation is that fortified wine can apply to several different types of drink, port, sherry, and so on. At no point anywhere on the bottle does this claim to be any of these things. It simply says full cream fortified wine. This worries me. Appears to leave a film. I'm getting petrol with a hint of low-grade adhesive. Well, I said I would, and so I shall. I wasn't aware Liverpool was known for its fine wines. The great vineries of the world. California, in Rome, Liverpool. They've taken the pride of the location, as I believe this is what comes off of the Angel of the North after a heavy rainstorm. Rusty. So in order to... Oh, there's an aftertaste. Oh, that's wonderful. I thought I was done with that, apparently not. Usually when one swallows, one is finished with the consuming, and certainly the tasting. But no, way to defy tradition there. The next I have is, it was listed in the shop as the world's most famous Hellenic beer. Given that I have never heard of a single Hellenic beer, that could very well be true. It is referred to as a mythos. It has a unicorn on the label. Now, my literary knowledge is somewhat limited, however I do know that nothing good is referred to as a mythos. Usually that's reserved for eldritch horrors, gods from beyond the void, bent on destruction, you know, the usual sort of stuff, so I'm quite worried to open this one, actually. Angle away from the face. Well, if eldritch monstrosity had a smell, it would be that. I need a better sample for a nosing of this. Let's see. Imagine the feat of the sort of person who gets kicked out of a tapas bar for being drunk. This is that smell. If they'd recently walked through the fecal matter of certain family pets. The bubbles in the foam are forming a face. Well, no wonder Greece went bloody bankrupt if they're making beer like that. I do say it's quite frugal of them to have a beer made not only of the hops or the grain, but also the dirt the plant grew in. No, there won't be any more of that. No. So, in order to clear the mouth and the head of the Grecian paint stripper, we now have a poor man's take on an old favourite of mine, an old favourite of everyone's just about. Now, this is not Pimm's, and it's worth pointing out that this is completely exempt from any copyright claim by Pimm's. This beauty is Punch Jeeves, registered trademark. A quintessentially British alcoholic drink, fruit-flavoured mixer drink in fermented and distilled alcohol. So there you go. It's worth noting that on the back of the bottle it suggests, on a sunny day, serve 1 part Jeeves, which part? To 3 parts ginger beer and add limes. Also serve with chopped apple, fresh mint and crushed ice. Now, if I had ginger beer, limes, chopped apple, fresh mint and crushed ice, I would be buying Pimm's, not off-brand Punch Jeeves. Once we've punched him, we're going to carve him up and try it out with not what is advised on the bottle, which may affect the taste, but I'm really here more for the experience than for the specifics of recipe following. Jolly good. That's the colour I want inside me. Once you've mixed your Punch Jeeves, it does best to drink it before it separates again. would recommend following the advice on the bottle. In fact, go one further. Stick an entire 5 apples in there and most of a mint plant, because you need to disguise the smell and presumably the taste. It's like your great aunt Lucretia, the last ball of the season, falling over on the buffet table. The smell of eau de toilette mixing with sherry trifle. That's what it is. That's what it is. Old lady perfume and old lady desserts. Not that bad. Oh no, it is, no. Definitely getting a lot of that sherry trifle in there. That's that's not going away anytime soon. Do not aerate. Do not aerate this taste. You do not want this taste diffusing. An attempt to distill this particular beverage, and I use that word wrongly. It's just 1 part of punch Jeeves to 3 parts of ginger ale. I would go a little bit further than that. I would say 0.25 parts if you're feeling bold. If you're not, or value your taste buds, leave it out altogether, would be my opinion. Rummy. Next, I have to say just the fumes alone of the last few drinks have made me rather dizzy, so do bear with. Next, we have Claro tequila flavoured beer for when you are either so poor or in such a hurry that you need to have 2 terrible tasting drinks at once. There appears to be some sediment within the bottle. I mean, it's not a tequila worm, so there's that, but oh, that's a special smell. That's... If I hold it any closer to my face, I may pass out from the fumes alone. It's interesting because first you get the smell of cheap beer, and then after that you get the sort of undertones coming through very slowly and subtly of cheap tequila. So that's nice. That's a pleasant smell. It's going to take a couple of tries, bear with. I can't tell if it's actually not horrible, or if I have just abused my taste buds so much in such a short space of time since the beginning of this video that they have given up all hope. It's not the worst, not the best, but it's not the worst. I have to say, I was, perhaps in a cynical mindset, I was expecting something far worse than this. Well, put it this way. If you're out on the lash with a friend and that friend has had one too many and you need them to really sober up and go straight, then have them neck a bottle of this. They will empty their guts, and then they'll be much more sober. Sort of a palate cleanse for the stomach. My tongue feels furry. Finally, to finish off the rounds of what one might buy at a shop and then take to the pub whilst asking people for change. we have what could conceivably be described as a good old British beer by people who have never had good beer. I give you most patriotic Excelsior Lager, and you can tell that it's patriotic because the main colours in the label are red, white and blue. And it has a knight on the can. Ew. Clean up. Well, have you ever smelled something that is so aggressively odourless it almost takes on a smell of its own, being the lack of smell? It has the darkness of smells in that its smell is a lack of another actual smell. Aluminium and desperation. Forgive me for getting poetical here, but it tastes rather like someone has taken the socks of a person who's been running around all day in a massive, suit of armour, used them to clean the bloody sword, then somehow managed to juice them. Sock juice. Sir Galahad's sword-cleaning sock juice is what I am drinking. Although I imagine that would be harder to fit on the front of the can. Yes, the knight on the front wielding a sword is, I think, quite definitely a warning, not an invitation. Excelsior. That's what that word means. Self-hatred, desperation, and socks. It's appropriate because, as I said, there is a knight on the can, and once you've drunk one of these, you will be spending a night on the can. Why do I keep drinking it? Well, I need to go and be violently ill for the rest of the day. From the brief amount I've had, I can already feel my stomach rising up in revolt. That was something I do not intend to repeat. However, if you would like to see more of this sort of behaviour, then do please like, comment and subscribe to this wonderful channel. I'm going to keep the pink elephants at bay by chowing down on some wafer rolls, and later this evening, at the same time I picked up this alcohol, I did find my dinner for this evening. Venison goulash in a tin. I'm sure that's going to be just the way that the butler always used to make. Well, I will see you next week, my friends, and until then, do remember, Roddy loves you. Hates himself, but he loves you. I'm dying.